watch us on Facebook Live, and I think you may definitely want to see our next guest and some of the things he's brought into the studio with him, because I'm joined by Chen Li, who is Training Director at Fatbars Limited and founder of the Hong Kong Virtual Reality Network. Very good morning to you, Chen Li. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you very much for asking me to come and join you here.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of basic questions. Can you explain to me virtual reality and augmented reality, two things that I hear a lot about? Are there differences? What are the differences between them?
Okay, I can simply put it that if we are talking about virtual reality, it is basically a experience that you go through. It might be a game, it might be training material, it might be pretty much you are in it. There's a sense of presence, there's a sense of adventure. Whereas augmented reality, well, the simplest form, have everybody played that Pokemon Go?
That's the biggest example of it, isn't it?
That's the biggest example.
So it's going on in the real world around you as well.
So you get to see the real world, and in AR, augmented reality, or some company like to coin it as mixed reality. That is actually more, to me at least, is more a tool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what happened? Because a year ago, everyone was talking about Pokemon Go. It was all the rage, wasn't it? But it seems now a year later, sort of Pokemon Go fever has died down, and you're not hearing about anything else to sort of replace it. Why is that?
Well, one of the things about Pokemon is the whole thing is we are very aware that this is a super hot intellectual property.
We all know the characters.
We all know the characters. We are that age group. We used to play the card games, watch the video. And it came at the right time. Within the right technology. Niantic, the company that made that, actually made another game called Ingress that has been running around for quite a few years. There's quite a few Ingress players in Hong Kong. And it's also augmented reality, but you never heard about them unless you're an Ingress player.
Yeah. So it really, part of the attraction was, you knew all the characters, and it was hard to think of another game that could really replicate that with such sort of popularity.
Yeah. So you can think about it as like if you look at it as a business point of view, you got this intellectual property that you are selling, and how are you going to use this latest technology gadget thing to extend it, right?
So, but I got the feeling that a large part of the attraction of Pokemon Go was actually running around meeting other Pokemon Go players rather than necessarily interacting with the characters. Is that true?
That, to me, that's a surprising thing, because used to be when you play card games that you play with a few friends, and then maybe when you get good, you actually go for competitions. But this Pokemon Go make people meet strangers, and positives and negatives.
Yes. So it's not really an augmented reality game then, really, is it? So tell me, what should a real augmented reality game be able to do? Where are we heading, sort of with this? What sort of things can we expect?
If it is game, well, I think what we are heading is not just only game. If it is augmented reality, there's actually experiments being done right now in various places around the world that allows, it's kind of strange and scary. You can actually pick up an augmented reality device, maybe a phone, or in the future glasses or something like that, and you look around and there might be advertisings or giant monster running around as attraction in the city. A little bit dystopic will be, remember this very old Tom Cruise movie called Minority Report?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so a little bit like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Minority Report is one of those AR interface that people still study, because that was actually done for real.
And how are you going to do? Is this going to be through glasses, for example? You put on glasses. What are the gadgets that are going to allow you to enter this new world of augmented reality?
They are, in the short term, it will be still bulky, something like a big goggle. But in the midterm, we'll probably see glasses come back, because the technology to get the components smaller and smaller is still running quite strong. And of course, there are research now that actually use contact lenses. So maybe contact lens.
That could be
nobody knows.
That could be your way into this virtual world. Well, what sort of business applications are there of augmented and virtual reality?
We can see that people are really excited about using business for AR part. Is actually using AR as a helper. Like recently, Google just said, "Hey, you know what? The product we have called Google Glass, we're still doing it, but we have been very quiet, and now we finally announced it. We have the enterprise version of it, which is the same thing, but they only sell to huge companies that does assembly lines and stuff like that, which is really cool. It's a tool, just to help people work. For VR, we are seeing real application is in training. You put firemen in a situation where they can actually make decisions in a VR environment. That sort of stuff.
Now, I saw a really good application of this, which I can imagine, even I would use, and that's in buying a house. Because you could use virtual reality, couldn't you, to really picture what it's going to be like with, for example, your own furniture in there. You could literally take a house that you're thinking about buying, put all your own things in it, your own bits of furniture in it. That seems really cool, sort of a real practical application as well.
That's just the beginning. Can you imagine that you can actually walk into a virtual house that you are looking at, and then you start working out the furniture? But the furniture, you can say, I like this, but it's a bit too wide. Why don't you get it a little bit less wide? And then the system goes, sure, no problem. You'll crank out the files needed. It will send it to a CNC machine. It will digitally cut it out for you. And it'll be like custom-made IKEA things for you.
And you could change, I suppose, the physical appearance of the house. You could take out a wall, or make doors or windows larger and smaller, presumably, all through virtual reality.
And actually, that is what some of the systems and software is available now, that you can actually walk through your design for the architect. And the interesting thing is not only that, you walk through a design and say, hey, this wall, I really like to tile it up. And it will actually go through the bill of material list and say, it's going to cost you this much more if you want it tiled. And they say, oh, no, that's too much. Let's bring it back to paint. And then they'll say, oh, it's going to cost you less. It's happening now. It's we have seen that kind of software and hardware available now in Hong Kong. So
this is where we're going at the moment in terms of virtual reality. It is going to have a difference and make a difference to normal everyday things that we're doing.
Well, it's interesting to look at it as like from the earlier on, like take for example, like mass manufactured furniture like IKEA. It seems to be like, yeah, this is the size, it'll fit everyone. To a future that's not so far away that it's like, hey, everything could be customized and made for you.
Now, you've brought some things in with you, some gadgets. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you'll be able to see this. We'll describe it for you as well, so that if you're listening somewhere, you can see what Shane has brought in. So tell me a little bit about some of these gadgets that you've got in front of you. Let me put them on the camera as well, or maybe you hold them up.
So this is just a commercially available consumer 360 video camera, and ball shape. We bring this all around. We shoot our stuff. And this has been our go-to camera for portability and just to record things around. And it's very handy. It's available now. And actually, this is the older version now. You can actually get an even newer version. And it's recording now, straight to this little
So this is recording everything sort of right
360 degrees.
360 degrees.
Yes.
So this one camera is recording everything that's going on around us. And then what would you do afterwards?
You can directly play it back on a device, mainly a phone, and you put it in a goggle. Or you can actually pump it up to something like YouTube or Facebook, which viewer can actually use their Facebook account and just go in and say, hey, let's spin the scene around and look around everything.
Okay.
You know?
So this is all being done right now. What else have you got there? You've got a couple of other things.
I got a...
hold it up so that we can see it on Facebook Live.
This
is smartphones.
Hey! Hi, streaming. This is an older version. This is actually a Tango device. I have to thank Google about this because they hook us up for me. This is actually they have been developing this device. Oh, sorry, technology. They don't do device, as they say.
It's called technology.
Yeah. So if your viewer can see, can they see those in the back?
I can see them. Yep, three.
Those are there are multiple cameras there.
3 cameras there,
and it can actually look at real world. It's actually calculating this space right now. Whatever it's looking at in front.
So this is only just a bit bigger than an iPhone. For people who are listening, this device, this technology is only a bit bigger than an iPhone, isn't it? So
it's actually already out in a smaller version. See that there's a cat there?
Well, there's no... So you put a cat in it. There's no cat running around the studio, but I can see one in this device.
It's trying to jump up to a cabinet, and it's trying to play with things. So this little virtual cat is actually aware of the surrounding in front of this device. And this device is considered old now because the newer versions are coming out. It's going to be just like a 5-inch phone. That's it.
So this is where it's going, really. But everyone's got smartphones these days. Everyone's doing things on smartphones. So virtual reality is moving to your smartphone.
Yes. You look at it, it's like we are carrying a so-called smart device, which is essentially a computer that have hundreds times more powerful than the computer they used to send astronauts into space and in the moon in the 70s. So we are having what do they used to call really a pocket rocket?
So this is a real revolution.
Oh yeah, it's everything is getting smaller and smaller, and faster, and also eating up a lot of power.
And what else? Anything else you've got there?
So I got this, and that's.
So tell me, sort of where you think the next big thing is going to be in virtual reality. What do you think is
the next big thing to me? I think will be a really good. I always think that VR experience is always for entertainment is always a interactive theater. However, VR is not just only entertainment. I think the next big thing is training. And also, I'm going to show you a picture, but I don't know if your viewer can see it.
We've got 30 seconds, so yep.
To me, quickly. This is...
If you put it up in front there, yep. So, and what's that?
See that lady that she's sitting in a wheelchair?
Yes, with goggles on.
Yeah, goggles on. She's able to experience what's it like to be diving in deep seas and looking at sharks.
Wow. Okay.
So this is what VR is to me is really, really, creating empathy and also experience for people that could not go and experience.
Do the things that you wouldn't be able to do.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you very much for coming in, Cheney, to tell us about that.
Thanks for asking me to come by.
That's Cheney C, who's training director at Fatbars and also founder of the Hong Kong Virtual Reality Network.
You're listening to Money Talk on RTHK Radio 3.